presented by Coach Tamika James. And this episode is actually sponsored by Underground Biz Group, which is a transformational entrepreneurship group. And so what it is it's actually a group where you can get to you get to go ahead and learn about social media. So we do social media classes every Monday at 10 a.m. and every Wednesday we do a small business class where you get to learn about the back end of your business, which is the most important part. It's really cool. We have a book club, we have a community. So you can go ahead and join the link in Tamika's bio and get started today. So that's a really, really good and valuable program. I'm also in there and I go ahead and help out with the creative side of it as well. So it's really cool. You also go ahead and get to ask your questions and we're right there to answer you and to help you along your entrepreneurship journey. So if you're interested in that, please join today. And then go ahead and get started. So you get 13 minutes and when you're done, you'll have 2 minutes to go ahead and let everyone know what you have to offer and where they can find you.
Thank you so much. This is Lady G. I'm a licensed financial professional, and I try to show you how you can use life insurance to create a little bit more wealth, and also retirement products that you can get that's working for you, not against you. But I want to talk more on key person insurance today. It is close to my heart to talk to those that are beauticians, truckers, nail techs, stylists, beauticians, because you guys work so much on your hands and with your hands and on your feet. What is protecting you if you can no longer do that again? If you ask the beautician, they make a lot of money. And we all know that not all of it goes on a 1040 form. But you guys make a lot. Don't you want to put it somewhere that it is going to work for you in the future? You have to think ahead and think about, if something was to come upon me that I can no longer stand at my chair and do hair, how will I survive? Going down to the unemployment office or the disability office, if you've seen inflation, inflation is now at 8 point something percent. It's down from 9.1, but we ain't close to where we was 3%. What is going to cover you? Because last I heard, people that are even retiring, getting pension and Social Security, it is not enough to assist them through retirement. So you need to think about or consider key person insurance. That is for any business owner. If you are an owner, if you have one employee or more, you need to consider covering. What is that coverage going to do? That means that if there is someone that you need on a day-to-day basis to operate your business, then you need to get key person insurance. It means that if you're used to someone that brings in 5 million, you need to get key person insurance, because if you get it, if any life event was to happen to that person, whether it's death, whether it's a disability, whether they lost the business in a divorce, that money can go and flow to keep the business going. So many people wake up with a dream one day to start a business. I wanted to become a nail tech. I wanted to do hair. I wanted to start this company, this marketing company. That's great. But what is protecting you in that business? So many people do not realize that starting a business is way beyond what the state mandates. The state will mandate that you have to get general liability. That's because if someone slips and falls, you're covered if they bring a lawsuit. The state may mandate that you need errors and omissions insurance. That's if you mess up anyone's paperwork, they bring a lawsuit, you have a policy to cover. I'm talking about what is covering the person. What do you have that you can pull out from to keep the business running, or to pay bills that need to be paid, to continue on through retirement and not worry if the government's going to do another shutdown and if you're going to get a Social Security check at all? What is covering you? Key person insurance is, you have to think about who is your key employee. What would be the impact of you losing that employee? How much loss can your business suffer if that key employee leaves? You also need to think about the loss of the management expertise. If I'm not a people person and I have someone that is a people person and they bringing in most of the business, I need to have that covered, because if something was to happen to them, I need time to find someone that's going to replace them. And if I don't have that in place, my business that I worked hard for can go under just like that, because I didn't have the proper coverage in place. So you want to think about that. You can lose your credit worthiness. A lot of people don't know. You started that business with someone, so they co-signed. Something happens to them. What happens to your loan? You should have a policy in place so that if any life event happens, you can continue on. Listen, if something was to happen to you and you want that business to continue on in your family bloodline, because we are all about creating generational wealth. When you create that generational wealth, you need to protect it. I can go all into the whole probate and all that, but I'm trying to stay focused in these few minutes to just tell you that if you want the business to stay in the bloodline, protect it so that if something happens to you, the business doesn't go under and your children can no longer run it. Because one, they didn't have the funds to, because you were the ones that knew you were the brains beyond the business. And they did not know have the funds to continue on. So get a key person insurance policy, and that can be the case. So any business that has a reliance on a sales individual or management, have active owners or founders or skilled professionals, you qualify for a key person insurance policy. You need to ask yourself these questions. Are there key employees whose death or disability would impact your or jeopardize your company position? You need to think about how much would it cost to replace that key employee today. You need to know how much would you pay for the replacement of that key employee. You should also ask yourself, what has been done to protect the business in the event of death or disability of one of your key employees? And if a key employee is insured, is it adequate insurance on them? There is many tax considerations for both sides. For the business, the premiums are not tax deductible. The death benefit is received free of federal income tax as long as all IRC 101 guidelines are met. The policy loan interest is deductible up to certain limits. For the employee, you have to make sure that a properly implemented policy will not result in taxation to the key employee. We all have to pay the IRS taxes, but we don't have to give them a tip. You have to make sure that you're with someone that can actually make sure that that happens. If the key employee has any incidents of ownership, the death benefit is included in the key employee's taxable estate. You need to think about the key employee insurance covering a partner or controlling shareholder. If those two things are the case, it will not be included in the taxable estate. You need to know that the value of the business will increase by the amount of the death benefit proceeds. You need to know, business statistics says that 71% of the firms surveyed said they were very dependent on one or two key people for the success of their businesses. However, only 22% of respondents had any key person life insurance in place. So remember, what is an employee-owned life insurance policy? It is a policy that is owned by a person that is engaged in a trade or business under which that person or related person is directly or indirectly a beneficiary of the policy. Again, if I expect someone to bring 5 million into the budget every year, then have enough of that in the insurance policy. So if something happens to them, just as much as losing the business in a divorce, that 5 million will run back into the business to keep it running. I believe that this is very important for all those that are in businesses as beauticians, nail techs, truckers, anybody that is getting cash and can put it right in your pocket, and you think that you are getting away from paying taxes on that cash. That is good for the moment. We'll give you that. But what when you cannot make any cash any longer because of a illness, because of a situation? If you don't even want key person insurance, everybody should consider getting a life insurance policy. Life insurance is not a one size fits all. It is customizable to the person. What might work for you may not work for me, and what might work for me might not work for somebody else. There is all types. If you want to do infinite banking, there are a few areas that you can use, a few policies that you can use for that. If you just want to get buried so no one has to do a GoFundMe, because I don't know who told the lie, but GoFundMe is not the funeral expense account. So let's make sure that we have a policy that will keep our family from having to do such. You can use insurance if you want to leave some wealth behind. You can get tax-free withdrawals and loans from policies if you're in the right policies. A lot of people are walking around with policies and wondering, well, what are you talking about? Because I can't even see to get a little bit of cash, let alone a lot. That's because you wasn't set up correctly and you're not in the right type of policy. And if you want to be in the right one, then reach out and let's talk. Because again, what might work for me may not work for you. But we're all about building this generational wealth. So, because as scripture says, a man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Let's not leave debt behind, but let's leave a little wealth. And it may not create millions if you ain't able to fund millions, but it'll create more than what the banks are giving you, because the banks are giving you less than 1% interest rate, where you could be making on an insurance policy a spread up to 8, 15, 20, 30%. And this is tax-free growth on a tax deferred account. Let's get smart. I've been off Wall Street now about 16 years. I had the 401ks. I had all of that. Listen, I ain't going to get into that. Get on a call with me so that we can discuss your situation and make sure that you're set up okay. There is nothing wrong with diversification, but let's just make sure that your foundation is set up correctly. If you would like to reach out to me, please do. You can hit the link in the bio, or you can go and to meetladyg.com. Meetladyg.com. You can get on my calendar. If you are looking for business opportunities, you can also reach out to me, because we are looking to add people that are serious about going after souls and getting them protected in and out the community, state by state. We're taking it by force. Thank you again for this time. This is Lady G. I'm done speaking.
And thank you so much for joining us. I mean, that really is valuable information. And I think a lot of people go into entrepreneurship, business ownership, and they forget to even think about, well, what happens when I'm gone, or the important stuff. And again, like, if you're not taking care of these things, your company might not be sustainable in the event of something happening to you or one of your employees. So let's not overlook the small things, and go ahead, tap in with her, get more information, because I'm sure most of you need it. I know a lot of my friends who are in business ownership don't have things like this. So let's go. I'm going to go ahead and